Parashat Devarim begins with the longest sermon ever given. It was the last address by Moshe Rabbeinu, our teacher Moses, to the Jewish people before he passed away. And in fact, it takes up the entire book of Deuteronomy. And Moshe revises for the Jewish people what has happened in the last 40 years. The exodus from Egypt, the giving of the Torah, the different sins that happened when the Jewish people were in the wilderness. He prepares them for them coming into the land of Canaan. And in his speech, he reminds the Jewish people that there were times when things were very, very difficult for him. He wasn't able to lead the people by himself. He felt overwhelmed. The Jewish people were difficult. They were bothersome. They were troublesome. They gave him a hard time. And he turned to Hashem and he said, Hashem, I cannot carry them by myself. How am I going to be able to bear by myself this nation? Please help me. Give me people to assist. And we see in Parashat Yitro and again in Parashat Behalotecha that Moshe did appoint people to help him. Judges, officers, and of course the members of the Sanhedrin that he anointed to help him judge the Jewish people. He couldn't do it by himself. And there's a remarkable lesson over here. We look up to a person of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, our teacher Moses, the greatest prophet of all time. He led the Jewish people out of Egypt. He brought down the Torah from Hashem. He provided them with all miraculous sustenance in the wilderness. But even he needed people to help him. Even he could not do the job by himself. And the Chofetz Chaim tells us in the introduction to his book Ahavat Chesed, which is about kindness, that kindness is such an important quality for the world because every human being needs kindness. None of us can get through this world, can get through our lives without kindness. It doesn't matter how wealthy we are, how healthy we are, every human being needs kindness. And he gives a number of examples. Just consider the fact that every child that's born is completely and utterly helpless. If you would just leave a human baby lying on the floor, the baby would die within a few days. Not like an animal that can fend for itself. The child has to be washed, cleaned. Its diapers have to be changed. It has to be fed, educated. All of this is the kindness of the parents to that helpless child. Then a person goes through life. Perhaps they hurt themselves. They're playing soccer. They fall on the soccer field. They need the kindness of people to come to their assistance, to clean the wounds or to take them off to hospital. And when they're in hospital, they need people to come and to visit them. Then a person starts a business. They need to take out a loan to get going, to get on their own 2 feet. So they go to a free loan society. So there's an example of chesed, of kindness. Then it comes time to setting up home and getting married. Well, you can't get married by yourself. You need a whole community. You need people to come and celebrate with you. You can't just have a wedding with no one there, with just the rabbi and the witnesses. So all of those people that come to the wedding are doing an incredible act of kindness to make sure that this young couple gets an incredible warm send-off into their married life. And very often the couple will need to set up home. And then, of course, there are times of tragedy when people are bereaved. They've lost a parent, they've lost a loved one, they're feeling down. And rather than sit at home for 7 days, they are surrounded by the community. People come to them to pay a Shiva visit. They bring them food. They bring them words of comfort. And this can be any person, even the most respected, even the wealthiest person in the community. We all go through this. And people come to them and help them out and do chesed. We cannot go through this world without doing kindness. We need other people in the same way that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, even though he was the greatest person, he had to come on to other people. He also needed other people. And therefore the Talmud gives us an important piece of advice. It says that if we are compassionate to other people, Hashem will be compassionate to us. When it comes, for example, to Yom Kippur and we beat our chests and we ask Hashem to forgive us, He looks at us and He says, okay, let's see how forgiving you were. You asked me for kindness. You asked me for atonement. Were you kind to others? Were you forgiving to others? And if we weren't, then Hashem says, well then, you don't deserve my forgiveness. You don't deserve my kindness. And it's quite simple. It's not so much a tit-for-tat thing, but we realize that just as much as we are dependent on kindness, we're not going to get through this world without kindness. So too, should we make ourselves available to do kindness to other people. And in fact, the Talmud tells us that there are 3 identifying marks of a Jewish person, and one of them is kindness. And if you find a Jewish person, even a religious person, and they are the opposite of kindness, they are selfish, they don't care about anybody, the Talmud says you have to bring their very yichus, their status into question. Are they really Jewish? Because it's programmed, as it were, into our DNA from our forefather Avraham, who is an incredible kind person. And that's the only way we can get through life. So just as others have done kindness to you, make sure always to do kindness to other people. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.